Okay, we're recording.
What? You know how I get the
What are you trying to do?
get the computer screen to show up there?
That's what I was trying to do, but when I followed with the director, he said.
Yeah.
Paul, you got a feedback, you got to mute.
Well, I don't know if we can get it up there or not.
Paul, we'll take your word for it. Come on.
Well, we won't all fit on that bed.
Sorry, I'm not a board member.
Well, come on. Let him come over here.
Okay, so the minutes have been accepted.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, there you go.
All right.
Hope everybody's feeling well.
I would, while Paul gets things ready, I would like to start with a personnel matter, essentially, because we're in relative privacy now as opposed to the end of the meeting. The personnel or membership matter has to do with Ava Noonan, who has not paid. We haven't heard anything from her in a year, basically. She was kind enough to arrange one speaker after I met with her.
Is that okay?
But
And you go on
she
mute.
hasn't paid in a year. I called her within the last week and sent her an email. Haven't heard anything. And I'm not. I was gonna ask, is she even here in town? She is still? Well,
So you tried to call her, tried to email her,
I
she
think,
didn't respond to you, she didn't.
a letter saying, yeah, try to contact you, have various meetings and you haven't paid, so we don't hear from you, in a set period of time, we're gonna drop them from the rolls. Yeah, that's what it is. That's the way
We didn't do, we didn't.
that's the way you've done it in the past?
Well,
Okay.
we didn't do that with, the resident.
All right.
Thanks, we tried to reach him, nobody could reach him. Same as people. I think we've made it a legitimate effort, multiple phone calls and multiple emails, and she doesn't answer, and she hasn't paid any attention to her invoices for a year. I think we got enough.
If she hasn't paid and she hasn't attended.
We have for a year.
12 months.
We've seen her for a year, or got any money from her for a year.
Well, I would send her a letter and just send it. We don't have to put at least 7 days.
Okay, we have a month, I guess.
Hey, Bill,
What's our deadline?
will you put that over there?
We can take her off the membership rolls and make it retroactive up to 30 days.
That works.
Only thing
Thank
I
you.
does say this district dues for half a year. It eventually probably say this, I'm not sure we'll ever say this in there now, because I don't know if they go back. Credit, I don't think so. No, I think not. Yeah, so we'll have to pay for the second half of the year for that and after, which is the more expensive. Anyway, but we could give her a week.
Okay. We don't have a membership chair, send a letter, would you be willing? Send a letter.
I'll send it to you this evening.
No, I would, you can sign it, that's fine. You're not.
Normally, that wouldn't really be a membership their job anyway, so notices like that. I Well, that would have to go from the president or the board,
Okay.
probably president. It should come.
Come from me.
Yeah, I think. it should.
All right, all right, well,
I've written. People before. I mean, if you want to ask the board to draft it, there's no problem, there, but you should have your signature.
And she, yeah, okay, so, committee chair changes, and then I will turn the floor over to Paul.
Well, let me ask one question in regard to even, did she get moved over as an honorary member or?
I don't know.
Just trying.
Thought that's the case, but I just
No.
wanted to get it.
But it's not automatic, it's only for people who like.
It seems so fine.
Got all your scholarships or been president and things like that.
The
We
good
made an
news,
exception with Mary U, but.
Yeah.
it's because she was.
the good news is we have not yet instituted dishonorable discharge.
The firing squad.
Um, So committee chair changes, Holly Carpenter has agreed to take over the speakers committee for Winter River. And I'm still kind of working out details with her. Thank you for helping her get into Dropbox and confirming that she's in and little things like that. And I am looking for but I think I won't be, I'm gonna ask for a membership chair, new membership co-chair. Betty Bivens was, but she's on leave of absence. We've got to have a membership campaign, and so we need someone energetic to lead it. And I said, other than going forward with you,
Financial report.
please.
Yeah, I was gonna project it up there like you will, but we're not able to do that. I sent the December treasurer's report to everybody on board. And I think, in membership chair. All right, so for the month of December, it's a very longer report than usual because we paid a lot of year-end things. We had a lot of credit card collections, and I'll give an update to credit card. In a minute. And we paid for our lunches for 2 months. They were a little slow on. And they don't even send me any invoices anymore. And so I made our own invoice. And sent it to them. I said, "You bring this," and they didn't answer for about a month. Yeah, I kept saying it every week. I'd update it, and okay, it was acceptable, so I'll pay it. And they finally, Jim saw Mark at a meeting, and what did he say? You can share that with everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Something like, "Well, I've never had it. It's nice to have a customer that's beat down the door to pay his bill."
That's right. Bravo.
Business as usual.
So finally they okayed it. And so I paid it. And I now done the same for January, and no, actually that was for October and November, and I've done the same for December, and Mark did that out of the way. I just paid it. But then we had a bunch of end of year donations that we made that were all approved. out of board, I think, the last meeting. And, you know, if time permits, I could give a report of that to the entire, membership, club meeting, but, I don't know if you want.
What was paid?
Yeah.
That's a
Who we
good
gave money
idea.
to.
Would you put it? Yes,
Okay.
people should know where their money is.
And then we
going.
send in our end of year, end of the calendar year donations to the Rotary Foundation, all the money that people had paid, the members had given to us as donations, we went ahead and sent on. And same for Polio Plus, I sent half our money that we planned to send to Polio Plus. Put half of that $1,200 plus the $95 that we got on Purple Pinky Day. And I was able, as I started doing a couple of about a year ago, I thought, well, this money could just as well come from members. Of all of the happy dollars that people have paid, and those that have paid the most happy dollars, I've translated that into a Polio Plus donation to.
Oh, my heavens. Okay, great.
And so that people will get letters saying, yeah, thank you for your donation associated with Polio Plus. I might explain that to them.
Yes, if you would, that's good.
It is, yeah, yeah.
And it's Paul Harris.
And you get credit toward Paul Harris.
Paul Harris.
And it doesn't hurt the club in any way. And
Oh, that is clever.
yeah, so, yeah, that's something that I thought of
Yeah, that's good.
about a year and a half ago. I've been doing it since.
Oh, good, thank you. Yes, please tell everyone. They should do this. So,
So I think this last 6 months, if you donated as much as $25 or more in happy dollars, you got credit for this.
that's fabulous.
I think you did, and you did. I think,
And then whoever wins the Queen of Hearts pool will withdraw that money from their.
well, that's not happy dollars. That's a different pool.
So comfortable.
All right. So anyway, we ended up the year, the calendar year, with a total of $33,000 in our bank account. 21,000 of which is contribution, 4,000 now for it. And everybody has all the detail of that. Each one has. Any questions?
I have a question, Don.
Yeah.
You pull back, Tom, guy.
Jimmy pulled you up?
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, I'm real human.
He's got a decade of change.
Oh, you want to know what you owe? Ask me after the meeting's over.
Okay.
Anything
Must
about
be a lot of money.
round it up.
Just leave it blank and I'll fill it in.
You can leave the amount blank.
It's not quite up on the new payments, with the cash app and all that other stuff.
And I also sent
The old time.
and I also did the summary of our expenditures and receipts today to the end of December and compared it to our budget. And sent that out.
It looks like after looking down through all the categories kind of briefly, that pretty much we're just about at the midpoint of what we predicted in the budget. And it looks like we're tracking the budget really, really well.
Yeah. Well, we go back and look at the last 5 years when we put the budget together.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's good
Yeah.
that you do that because it's always very close.
Well, the other thing too is with the couple of years of inflation, we still come to this point in the year where we're still about the same balance as we have been. That
Yeah.
is growing.
Yeah, So.
All right,
If
how much money, just to recap, how much money is in the
Right.
donations? The
about
charitable,
20,000.
about 20,000. Good. Well, keep that number in mind. It's a nice segue into,
This actually point to speak.
oh yeah, excuse me, thank you. Do we hear a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
We seconded, moved by Dolores, seconded by Bill. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. I would like, I would like to bring up just a question. I'd like to get the board's feeling about possibly a different way to help the mentoring, to the shore mentoring, this tutoring project that spoke with Amy Buddha and Susan Berger were here last week, told us about it. And it just meshes sort of well, not perfectly, but sort of well with our workplace development, workforce development emphasis this year. And I was talking to a friend who's an education consultant. She said that tutoring, tutoring is one of the most effective ways to help kids in school. It starts just asking them, how was your day? What happened? Even the kind of the training to actually helping them with their homework or something, whatever it is. She said studies show it really, over the years, changes behavior, not just academic, but really behavior as kids grow up. So, one of the things that struck me, and let me go back, it's not quite a perfect fit. Randy and I were talking about this, and what we've been talking about is developing sort of more of a speaker's bureau. Really, I don't really like the term for it, but it is we would individually go in, into the classrooms, do presentations about our careers, what kind of jobs there are in our industries we were in, and try and motivate kids to think beyond jobs here in farming or service industry. Is that a fair description?
Yeah, that's kind of what I got last week. When they were here, they were trying to pull us for more tutoring, come to the classrooms every week and teach. I don't think we're qualified, at least I know I'm not qualified to do that. What I would like to do is like what Randy has brought up. Here's what I did in my life for career planning purposes, not to teach them how to do calculus and second order equations, things like that. Which I haven't done in 20 some years, so I have to break my books and get through all that again.
Well, I think part of the confusion is it mentoring or tutoring?
Yeah,
And
right.
Susan and Amy are social workers, and they're looking at it from that perspective
Yeah.
as a mentoring. And I think most of us were thinking more towards tutoring rather than mentoring.
Right.
I don't know, but I think there needs to be some clarification as to
Yeah.
the goal and
And-
aim of the program.
Because the one thing that was, that I took, one thing I took from it was, this is to happen on school grounds
Yeah,
during school day.
Once a week.
yeah.
Yeah,
Once a
well,
week,
that's
right?
fine.
I mean, it's a big thing.
So the difference between mentoring and tutoring, I mean, it's either a very limited form of what we would consider mentoring, or it is tutoring. And I think the answer is they're so hungry for volunteers and for help that they'll make it.
Make it
They'll make it work. Yeah.
In the meetings
But-
I've had with them, the conversations I've had with them.
they're talking about both.
Great.
Because they're sensitive to 4 grades that are being registered in math, like primarily. So tutoring is part of what we're talking about. The key thing is it's a one-on-one relationship as opposed to a speaker here thing. And there are a lot of issues they're dealing with that I don't want to deal with. That's why I'm interested in doing the in-class.
And this is cool. So
That's where they are, as far as I can see and talking. But they're not, the mentoring part of it in terms of helping out with the kid from a social, psychological, whatever effect, as opposed to the tutoring. Both pieces of that are there. That doesn't mean one person is going to do both. I think the school is going to designate this child needs this kind of support. And looking at the list of people that volunteer, maybe this person will be assigned to that child.
Yeah.
now, before we go too far down this road, I think one of the points is that's not our strength. Or at least it's for the individual members to decide, not for the club to decide as a whole.
So I agree.
This, and it's I see there's quite a lesson in the painting of the caboose, because that's actually a difficult project for us to do hands-on, because we don't have that many people who receive on that. Well, we'll overcome it. But I think it's important that we play to our strengths. And one of the strengths of this club is that we have former executives, we have nonprofit executives, we have professional services that we can donate to help them get up and running. One strange thing that they said was, and I think this is symptomatic of their need for business consulting, was that they can't incorporate as a nonprofit because the schools don't want one nonprofit in because they don't want others to feel that they're invited. Well, the result of that is we can't give them money because we can't give to the individual. And the other, and without incorporating, they, well, I mean, that whether or not they are incorporated should not be a barrier between them and the schools. The reality is that if anyone leaves and goes and tutors, they do it on their own. They don't do it on behalf of the nonprofit. So there's really never any direct link. So those are the kinds of questions that if we are going to help the schools through that, what we really need to do is to sit down with them and ask, what do you need? What, have you considered, incorporating as a nonprofit? And then I'm confident we could get Rusty's help putting that together. We could get, if they've got to set up their accounting, we either, I don't know who's good at that, but if not, we'll go recruit someone in town who will help them. I think that they don't have a website. Well, fine, we'll put together a website. These are the kinds of things that I think that we could do and do well. Good phrase, yes, exactly. Love them. So, and so that's really what that's the road I'd like to begin putting this down. If that's, and it's all very tentative, we're not committed to anything. I think the next step is simply to meet with them, and then see if we haven't got people who would be willing to donate time. And frankly, I think it's easier to recruit people when we're asking them to do what they already do well.
Jim, something else, I think I like what you're saying, but we do have a meeting to discuss that type of thing. We should probably also invite at least one member of the school board. And the reason I say that is because I'm becoming more familiar than I ever wanted to be with the school board regulations and how certain things are done and what's permitted and what's not. And it is a governmental agency, so anything you do, what you do for them or with them or in their name, you want to be sure you've got everything as they would like it, because there's always liability issues between the child's parents and you or whatever organization you're representing. I mean, if we just go up to the school and say, hey, I want to help, they'll take you. They'll take you in a minute because there is a need. If we want to do something of a little more formal nature, which this sounds like it is, I don't think it has to be a nonprofit, but it should certainly be with some type of concurrence from at least a school board member that, hey, we ran this by the school board and they gave it the head nod. I think
And that
that's
too,
a smart way to do
it
it.
gets the school board member buying, and then now we've got a champion on the board, or we're establishing for them, a champion on the board, and that can help. a little bit.
I think we, not to enlarge this group, I think we need somebody from the school administration, because now you're gonna have volunteers in the school, which creates some liability for the school in terms of who's wandering around. But I think we need to have, whether it's head of HR, it doesn't have to be the superintendent, but somebody who's upper management within the school.
Let me give you an example of what I would like to do in this realm. A few years ago, I had discussions with my granddaughter, when she was struggling, what am I going to do with my life, work life? So I asked her what things she was interested in, and what would she like to go to college for. She wanted to go to photography. Well, okay, it's just that millions of people every day are uploading photographs to the internet. You're competing with all that. Of course, I was in part of my work life was cybersecurity, and I told her to look into that. She said, "Grandpa, I really don't like math. I don't like to have to know all the math." So I said, "Brea, there's not a lot of math to it, but you have to have is a curiosity of what people are doing. You have to like investigative skills. You have to understand a little bit of IT. You have to learn how to use software and forensics to determine what happened if there's a break-in." So that really has nothing to do with math. So there's this fear of a lot of young people of things like, well, if I get in that job, I gotta know all this stuff. They don't understand really the career that may be good for them. You don't need to know all that stuff. And you don't have to go to a four-year college necessarily. I sent her an email from Chicago Tribune, because they were living in Chicago. One had 5 years experience, $35,000 a year for a photographer. That's minimum wage. I sent her another 1 year certificate program for cybersecurity, starting at $125,000 a year, right out of school with a 1 year certificate.
I hope that you get to carry exactly that message to the school
Yeah,
as part of a career presentation.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that would sway a lot of kids.
yeah.
In the interest of time, I think we need to move on. So would I will add one thing. This is kind of tangential, but it relates to the schools and also and to us. On Friday morning, Andre Elliott, Tom Arnold, a district Rotary official by the name of Gary Anderson, and I are going to meet with the new school board or the new school superintendent about this Rotary Reads program, which is intended as a replacement for the dictionary distribution. I'm a little shy on details of the program, but it is a plus by the district. And Andre and Tom are apparently very big on it. He'll to some details to follow. Does it sound, I mean, so is there kind of a consensus that it's okay to take the next step, meet, find out, get kind of a menu of what we might be doing and,
What we can do.
Well,
yeah,
I think we've only heard from you until then. We don't really know at this point, like the school administration.
oh, I thought, I like your idea.
It's something, it's something.
Oh,
they're looking
absolutely.
for. Yeah.
Absolutely. And actually, I'm
You're
Friday,
meeting
thinking
with
on
the-
Friday.
You're meeting with the. interim superintendent?
Yep.
Hey, Jim,
Yes.
for your information, that meeting's been postponed to next Wednesday.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So I'm also thinking that might be the time to ask the interim superintendent if there's anyone she wishes to delegate to, or if she wants to attend.
Is that Dr. Martin?
I don't, Bill, do you know the name of the interim?
Repeat that? Do I know what?
Interim superintendent?
Yeah. It's slippery right now.
At any rate,
Hold on, I'll have it before in 2 minutes.
okay. Thank you very much. I would like to move on then to get a little clarification on the opt-out program. Great, or whatever.
Lisa,
Say again.
Lisa,
Good. I've heard good things from at least one school board member about it. So. I guess before we go on to the opt-out, any questions? Any other comments?
I'm just curious, as Randy said myself, if he has any other thoughts on it.
Oh, yeah.
Let me make a point, Randy, so I'm heading up what you described.
Oh, well, okay, I thought you were.
My interest was in the Speaker Bureau approach, which is a number of members indicated they'd be interested in doing that. That got sidetracked for a number of reasons, mainly because I found out about the effort that Jason and her comrades were doing. I have real reservations about that program.
The one that the two ladies.
Please no.
Not them, what they're trying to do, I think is noble, whether it's something that is a good thing to be involved with from a Rotary standpoint, I'm not so sure. I invited them to come and speak as they did last week, because I thought there may be interest on an individual basis to participate in what they were doing.
Maybe.
Not to advocate it as a Rotary sponsored activity. But
But what are your hesitations?
my hesitation is, I think there are all sorts of liabilities that people don't understand. In terms of, the question was raised last week about liability, and the answer was, well, the school covers that. Well, yes and no. I don't know whether you know much about how lawsuits work, I don't, but people who decide they're gonna sue don't stop. Yeah. If an individual is involved, that individual is going to be, and you have no, yes. And you have no control over it. It sounded to me that the school doesn't really feel there is a need to get parental approval of the mentoring children. If the school board decides that a student benefit from it, that's good. That question was asked last week, and I think that was enough. It's hard.
No, she said
I was
that-
on that.
I remember, Andrew, she said that parents signed consent for the school to
It's a general,
provide
it's a
help
general
to the
consent.
student and anybody they designate, which is why the school does such a thorough job doing the background screening and all, for you, or requiring it.
So anyway, I just want to make clear,
Yeah, I want to talk to you some more about that later.
Yeah.
It's what-
Yeah, it's a quick, good question as to whether
It
the school
is.
has liability insurance to cover the individuals.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do to cover
The
the.
school is covered and the teachers are covered and the school board.
But do they cover certain?
But do they cover
Volunteer.
these volunteers that they're approved?
Not seriously.
Really? Okay. Well-
I might have some other, but,
We,
I was on a school board. I was student and, I think I was on, so first board, and I was student.
oh, it's ridiculous.
Is there something they need to know?
I know it's, what
Yeah.
as a supervisor, we got sued, that, we won, but, thing about it, it's just. It's
I don't
time
think
consuming.
It's not, it's expensive.
Nobody really wins.
Right. All right, well, I'm not gonna do any, I'm just.
We need to
will
know.
explore and get back, yeah, exactly. However, what's the next step for the speakers?
Next step for the speakers bill is to have me, I hope, confirm with the members who are interested in participating, to the extent that I could get a handful at least of, what you can show you. To have this form filled out, and if I were to fill it out, this is what I would say, it's basically my education, my professional experience, and a little outline of what I would propose to talk about if I was going to talk to a client. Then if I could go to the superintendent or the acting superintendent and say, here's what I have in mind, here's an example of what we can do. In other words, I have the product itself. I'm not just going in and saying, we'd like to do something. So that's where I would, so my next step would be to see how many people will go in do this, and then approach the school administration and say, here's what we have to offer. If you're interested, great. If you're not, fine. But going back just a bit, what I was proposing is that the Rotary could coordinate the activities. In other words, when a teacher said, I want to have this person, they would let a central person at the Rotary know that, okay, we want Joe Schmo to come in and talk to the chemistry class, and the Rotary will run. So that the school administration doesn't have to do the busy work of just scheduling things. And
I like your idea. Can we funnel something like this to you? You'd be the central point.
yeah,
collector of it.
yeah.
Okay.
Put it together so I have something, and next week I'll have copies of you. Shouldn't make copies today. And this is an example. It's not great, but it's what I would do.
Well, I think that right now, that's the way we are.
Yeah.
I think we ought to just agree, that's what we're gonna do for right now, anything else is pending more discussion, and because that sounds like a great idea.
Did I send you an email with the name of the person instead of HR?
No, but the first meeting I went to, that person was there because seeing that person would be the person that would try to match students.
Yes.
Mentors.
Oh, okay, because they were saying they were looking for speakers. I'll look and see if I can get that name again.
I don't remember. It wasn't- I didn't write it down. I wrote down all the other ones. So I didn't-
Yeah, let's see if I can meet for you. Find that person. Because that's what they were looking, that's what she was looking.
Maybe do you want to open it up? This is your next week. Next week? Okay. No, you'll let me know before the meeting.
I just did, yeah.
Nah.
You remember
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so, then I think it comes to the opt-out program. And the question arose whether the opt-out program includes the rules of social. And so, whether members can attend the social event without pay. And, I don't know if you all, but I'm, mystified. I had never, first of all, finding time, to Chuck comes to. No, my feeling was, no one joined Rotary to save money. And it is an important part of the life of the club that we come together, break bread, we fellowship, we plan, we work, we learn, and that's a wonderful package. The meal is a small part of it, and this opt-out program has caused us headaches from the beginning. I'm not sure that it's really equitably calculated, because I think that the people who are up, because some of the money from the food really is underwriting cost of the hall, other administrative costs and that sort of thing. And that by opting out of the food costs, people are partially opting out of their responsibility to fund the activities and the work of the club. So I think in this particular case that we need to clarify that going to a social event is an extra expense for the club. It is significantly more expensive than our weekly meal. And if anyone wants to go socially, God bless them. If they're going to buy a ticket, they're going to go in. And whether they eat or not, that's totally up to them. But they are going to pay to attend the event. And I personally hope that we work over time to get rid of this altogether. And what I really would like to see is the rate raised until it's not a bargain, and then we'll just do away with it. It is simply more headache than it's worth. And not only that, I think it's bad for the club. Like I said, it's bad. So I'm sorry, I apologize.
I mean, well, let me just give a little historical
Yeah.
perspective on that. I don't remember, it's on 2 minutes, it's all in our Dropbox, but at some point, 6-7 years ago, maybe 8, the issue came up that to expand membership, we need to make it membership available to people who might not feel they can afford the entire fee, which covers meals. And more than half of that fee is for meals. Okay, so that is the biggest expense that people are paying for in their membership. And the board decided at that time to make a classic membership available to people who might not feel that they can afford the entire fee. And then they could come to the meetings and not pay and not eat. And we need to arrange a category so that they pay less dues that way, which would make it more affordable to more people. And of course, now that we have Zoom, we have several members that really just attend our meetings via Zoom and don't pay for meals, but they're still members. Now, is it fair for them to pay the entire fee that covers meals? And it's been the feeling of the board since that some 8 years ago when we established this different classes of membership, that that we serve a group of people in our club by making that available. And more, unfortunately, more and more people have opted for that.
Right, and if.
And that
Here.
could
Hey,
potentially.
Now, wait a minute, what he's saying is important. It could potentially,
Potentially become a financial problem.
that's right, if it's a convenience that if it grows, will hurt the club. And I think there are other ways that it's hurting the club even now. So it's just.
But, I think if you eliminated that category, you'd lose several members.
Well, that was why we instituted it to begin with, is that we had lost a couple of members who just simply said, I can't get to the meetings, I'm not there, I'm only there part-time anyway.
I don't want to pay for the
You know, and I don't want to be paying for meals. And so that time membership was fairly, we didn't want to lose anybody, we need a couple of good members, otherwise we would just pay everything else. So
What you do is you create a Zoom membership and you say, you're welcome to come anytime you want. Well, but if you're here in person, we'll bill you for your meal, whatever.
it was a policy that worked at the time, it was necessary at the time, and there's always been a little bit of a controversy as to welcome somebody that says, I want to opt out, or should it be because they're employed and can't be here for meals most of the time? Is it because they have some problem with food or food allergy? I mean, it's all kinds of things discussed. And it's sort of gradually evolved into, well, I just don't want to eat all this. Chair, basically. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying, heck, we even had some folks that were bringing their own lunch. Yeah, we got in trouble with it. It's worth the discussion, but I don't, I mean, the reason that it ever started was for good reason. And this work, yeah, there's been some problem with it, but most of that has fallen on the treasurer to keep straight in the invoices and everything, but I don't really see, and Paul, you correct me if you think I'm wrong, I don't really see where there's been any detriment to the club.
Hasn't been so far.
Well, I think what the issue now is 11 non-participating.
Right.
And 28, 27 participating. So
I think it would be worth asking. It's just attention to the board in general, that overall we do away with the response at the meeting. If that were to happen, would that be a reason for you to be Rotary? Would you leave because we tell you how to pay for it? I'd like to know the answer to that, particularly from the 11 people that are, opting out now. That might be something we want to know. We want to say, okay, 9 out of 11 say, yeah, I'm done with it. I'm here, I don't want to do that. And these are all good numbers. Does that not hurt the club more than continuing the opt out? So I think it's something we should investigate before we just say, no, we're not going to do it. Although it would be a lot simpler, and there's a couple of things that, looking back now, which never happened, like an oyster roast and some other things, but I don't know, I just don't think it's a simple thing.
There was a club in this district that had similar things like that, and so they split the club. They split the club, and
Churches do that all the time.
and so, for example, the ones that opted out, they formed a social, like a happy hour type of a club, and there are plenty of happy hour clubs, and that's how they met.
And that's becoming a big thing with Rotary now.
Yeah.
Because of membership issues a few years ago, that they started opening up the membership requirements period as far as attendance, when you can meet, how often you had to meet. And now the door is pretty much open. If you want to join Rotary and pay the international dues and affiliate with your local club, fine. You want to meet at happy hour once a month, or you don't want, I mean, it's pretty much whatever you want to do is acceptable to Rotary now as far as membership. So it is open.
Yeah, I want to make a point. We only have, it's 4 minutes to 12, according to my wife, so we really need not to go settle this issue.
What was I expecting to?
There is a pressing issue regarding Betty. Yeah, okay. Betty has asked to take a full leave of absence for 6 months. At least, he said. And so the question is, what should her dues be during that period? And when we started this different classes and membership, that 8 years ago, whatever it was, we did have a leave of absence. And we had opt-out, and we had full membership. And the leave of absence at that time was $50. And the opt-out was 70, and regular members were 160 or whatever it was. Since then, we discussed the other two categories, and went up $10, 15 bucks in each one. Did not even bring up leave of absence. And unfortunately, when we had that leave of absence, and that was generally known, quite a few people chose the leave of absence then if they were going to be gone for 3 months. Right. And because it was cheaper than the opt-out. And
Okay, I hear you. We probably need a snowboard membership or something, travel.
yeah, but
Something.
you know, or maybe you had 3 or 4 people on the leave of absence. Because it was gone 3 months.
We need to.
Well, they can't be 3.
Right. Oh, okay.
Because we have to pay district dues, they still should be responsible for some of the overhead of club. Like, I think they pay their share of city president or strength.
Right.
And I think $50 you have to manage the charges. I don't mind saying that's what we adopted before. And if we haven't gone up on it, but I don't think we ought to make this gentleman know. I think more people are cheaper.
This has been very helpful.
If there's.
If you just sit here,
Like myself, okay, I'm going to California for 3 months, okay, so I don't want to pay anything. No, I don't know. And that will apply to me as much as anybody, because I'm gonna be there.
I'm at another point, there is an option if a member doesn't want to pay anything. They can just drop their membership for 3 months and rejoin them. If they don't want to be a member. That'd be a possibility.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jim?
but we need to get, you're right, like, this conversation will continue. John?
The non-paying food issue also applies to the social committee because we were unaware that there were non-paying meals members. And we had people who signed up for one of our evening events. And we were oblivious to the fact that we even knew that there was that situation. So I think you need to include that in the mix.
Allow leave of absence.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, there are none. Thank you. Thank you all. And Randy. Thank you.
Right now, what?